Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And Tanya just mentioned the room's available to stay afterwards if you'd like to grab another cup of tea and have a chat with your colleagues as well. So I'll be going through the changes for 2021. So Steve's already touched on a couple of those sort of main changes there. Of course, addressing the 8,000 word count, and then just a total of 4 questions plus those COVID-19 impacts. Now, the question sheets for all the categories will be available, I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, just having that feed through from National. But a really key component there that I'd like to highlight, for anyone that's entered before, we've not had 4 overarching questions before. In previous years, there's been section 3 and then sub-questions A through to D. That's now just been condensed down into one overarching question with some response guidance tips. So just to sort of remove the ambiguity there of having the sub-questions where you would repeat yourself, even though you'd mentioned it in A, you couldn't say, as mentioned in section A, you had to rewrite that same information. So they've just condensed it down, 4 questions. Really simple, helps with the 8,000 word count as well. And the COVID-19 impacts is only about 200 words. So really just painting the picture of how your business was impacted through that time. Just important to note there, the category name changes. So specialised tourism services now, tourism, retail and hire services, capturing probably a larger section of the sector there for businesses in that retail and hire space. Destination marketing will now be tourism marketing and campaigns. And then something that I've just unpacked with Jenni from Middleton Big Hub, the 3 accommodation categories now renamed to the 3 different types of star ratings. So we've got 3 to 3.5, 4 to 4.5, and 5-star luxury. Now, besides the beach huts, do we have any other accommodation entrants in the room? Okay, I won't spend too much time on it then, but important we look at that for those. So important to highlight as well, the category questions that we went through before with Steve are the general category questions. These ones here are the other categories which have updated question sets. Was anyone in the room looking to nominate into these specific categories here? Yes? Yeah. Yeah, sure. So I'll be hanging around after the session to have a chat with anyone who's not sure about the category that best suits them. So we'll go through, we've got 28 categories, 26 of them are sort of suitable for businesses. I thought would be attractions. So for that sort of music attraction, yeah, but we'll look at that for anyone that needs a bit of help. Yeah. Yeah.
What qualifies for a new? I mean,
Sure.
We've been operating for 10 years, but we've never tried to do social tourism stuff.
Sure.
It happens at never one.
Yeah.
So does that consider a new business, or does that be finding something?
So I think, let me just touch on so new tourism business are for any new businesses, so those that have commenced trading or started opening visitation from the 1st of July 2019 through until the 30th of June this financial year. So it's commenced operations in that last 2-year period. Yeah. So for an existing business that's commenced a new product or new tour, they have to look at going into a different category. So online review questions, we've touched on that a little bit there. It is worth 10% for most categories, and I've given a little bit of detail here. So the site visit judge will have a guiding set of questions. About 2 pages, might take them 10 minutes to work through before they come out and meet with you for the site visit. And they are very, very basic areas. And the judge will work with you to ensure you get full marks for this. There's no reason any of our entrants will not achieve a full score for online review. It's looking for things like, you know, is your website available on Google? Do you have Google My Business set up where you've got control over what comes up on Google for your business? Social media channels, they'll check out all of your social media channels and you'll enter in a link to those pages when you nominate. And like I said, Google listing and other external listing sources, so TripAdvisor, any of your third-party channels that you might sell your product via, the judge will view those, but you will have a copy of these online review questions in your nominees kit. So don't worry, it's not a blind assessment. The judge will go through the questions when they come out to do the site visit, go, hey, I've noticed some of your images on your website were a little bit blurry. I couldn't give you 0.5 of a mark for that. Maybe if you've got some newer images, update those, and they can update that score. So it's really about working with the business to improve their digital capabilities. And we do have the option of our Digital Champions program for any business that's accredited. You can work with Emily, our communications coordinator, to improve your digital assets with support from TiCSA. And that's a free program for accredited operators. So that option is there as well. And like we said before, the site verification visit, the judge will assess your customer experience, provide really detailed feedback, give that feedback to the submission judges, and also in your final report, which is highly valuable. So, addressing the elephant in the room, the consumer review scores. Review Pro is a platform that will be used to generate that consumer review score. Now, for anyone that's not familiar with Review Pro, it's a pretty fantastic platform which collates all online reviews about your business from any channel where you get a consumer review. So if you've got Facebook, TripAdvisor, Google, it'll pull them all into this one dashboard here. You'll see a nice overview of all of your reviews over the last 12 months. For the purpose of the Tourism Awards and that consumer rating score, I really wanted to highlight, I'll be capturing the average of all of your online reviews over the 2-year period. So if you had 12 months, you weren't able to operate, or 6 months, that shouldn't matter. I need to just ensure that you've received 25 reviews in that 2-year period. So if you're looking now and you've got 20, I just encourage another 5 of customers to leave an online review before we get to friends, customers, family. Yeah. No, just encouraging those consumer reviews is going to be, the way that you're going to achieve full marks for that consumer rating score. And so this Review Pro account, you get a free license as a nominee of Tourism Awards. I think almost every business here is either accredited or star rated. You should already have access. Talk to me if we don't have you set up on Review Pro, but it should be something that's already provided access for. And then free license for anyone that's not accredited, which is great. Nominee Support on making sure you use that free license. Yeah.
When you're referring your OEX,
Yeah.
how do you actually scoring for the take a license and over there?
Yeah.
How does that relate to the score?
Sure. So the consumer rating score for most categories, and I've just made a note here that there are some exceptions to that. I'll just jump to that slide here. So consumer rating score will be worth 20% of your overall 100%. If you have 96, then you pretty much get that full 20% mark. So it'll be a conversion. The consumer rating score will not apply to the following categories. So any festivals and events not relevant for ecotourism, cultural tourism, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island tourism category, and our business event venues, marketing and campaigns. Even new tourism business won't have a consumer review score, just being conscious if they've been open for 4 months, they have that minimum number. And then for those categories where there's a mix of products included, excellence in food tourism and tourism, retail and high services, that consumer That's right. Yeah. So destination marketing, the tourism marketing campaigns, doesn't necessarily have a TripAdvisor page set up, but they could share testimonials still. Yeah. Is there, sorry, did I answer your question? Okay, Joel.
Yeah, I think so. So like your global marketing.
Yep.
With your
10%. 10%. Yeah, absolutely. So, and just for your reference as well, like I said, I'll be manually pulling your GRI score. So GRI score, I don't want to just use the acronym without talking to it. So that's that average review, online review score. I hope it's in this screenshot here. Beautiful. Global review index. Review Pro calculates this as an average across all of your sources that you get your reviews. I will collect that figure for every nominee in July on the same day for the 2-year period. So work towards an end of July sort of time frame to really push for those positive online reviews to get those full marks there. If you've got quite a few months, if you haven't got many at this stage, there's the opportunity to really encourage any other customers to jump on and leave those reviews.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So when you're going, if you reply to a review on Facebook, that doesn't get counted in the week.
So the review,
replying to Facebook, not to
the review will still be collated by Review Pro, but if you're replying to that comment, it should feed through to Review Pro itself. It'll say Review Pro is quite, I don't think it's captured in this screenshot. And I'll do a session on how to use Review Pro probably once we have nominations in. I think it's lucrative if you're getting a free account. Let's make sure it's beneficial for you. For the dashboard, where it actually breaks down all of your channels where you get reviews, it'll show you which ones you have and haven't replied to, hopefully. And if it doesn't look like it's correctly, I'll have Review Pro look
and if we have you, like, ads on Facebook, how do you make sure it will go over that way? I can't find it.
It should find anywhere. Yeah, it should find it anywhere. And if it's not, I'll have them look at that for you. Anywhere pretty much where your business is mentioned in an online review platform, it'll find the algorithm finds that. So it should do. One of the other new introductions for this year is a Judge's Choice winner. So the judges will all review your COVID-19 impacts response, and they will recognise finalists that they believe showed a great resilience in what has been a difficult time. This winner will not progress to nationals, but will receive a nice acknowledgement there with the logo to display and an award and certificate on the awards night as well. And there'll be a Judge's Choice awarded at the national awards chosen from all national finalists. So in terms of how to enter, at this stage we have our expressions of interest open. I really encourage everyone here to register for that. I'll be letting everyone know who's done that EOI when the questions are ready for this year, which will be later this month. Nominations do open on the 15th of March. As soon as you nominate, you'll get access to that nominees here, which Steve mentioned before. That is your go-to guide on how to write your submission. And then, of course, we're going to be working towards this final submission due date, but I should have added in here, really important, 21st of July, draft submission review. Have that be your deadline. Give yourself 3 to 4 weeks to refine from there.
And Review Pro, I'd say by then.
Yeah, so when you nominate, I'll make sure that your Review Pro is set up, but having all your online reviews by July is perfect. So yeah, that'll be something. If you don't already have Review Pro, I'll make sure that's all working for you when you nominate as well. And then yeah, so access the online portal and nominate it once the payment has been received. Now, for anyone who's not familiar with the Quality Tourism Framework portal, that's where all of our nominations and submissions will be entered into. So for anyone that hasn't got an account, It's a very simple sort of sign up process, and I'll catch up with Greg and Dave afterwards. I think they'll be the only ones I need to sign up for the portal. But those who are familiar, we click through to the Tourism Awards summary in the middle here. We then nominate in that page. It's very simple, very bright red nominate now button. You choose your category, and then there's two options for payment there in terms of credit card or invoice for the nomination fee. And then once that's paid, you'll get access to everything. Now, if you're not accredited, have we got any businesses here who aren't QTAB accredited? Yeah, so we can catch up afterwards. The only prerequisite for entry is answering these business standards questions. Now, that's just verifying something that they introduced in 2019 is just really basic business details like your licenses and permits, business and marketing plan, your HR management, and these questions tie into the accreditation program. At the end of the awards process, you can become fully accredited. If you're already a member of TiCSA, you tick that box there. And accommodation categories. I don't think there's anyone here, and we've already got a star rated accommodation entry. So what's next? For anyone that's not a TiCSA member, we highly recommend signing up. You do save $100 on your nomination fee if you are a member, and then of course the gala dinner tickets have a reduced cost as well for members. If you're already a member and not accredited, let's have a chat and I'll work that through with you. It's a great thing to work through before we go into writing a submission. If you're already QTAB accredited, you already have access to a free Review Pro account. So I'll work with you to make sure that's working as it should and collecting all of those online reviews. And then I don't think we've got any accommodation providers here that aren't star rated, but that's an information there. Anyone who's interested.
Star rating, I know it's changed over the last few years. Is that a certificate that you like to be able to get so far off?
So they reviewed a lot of those questions to better reflect what modern day guests are looking for in that accommodation experience. So no, it's not measuring sort of the distance from the basin to it's a lot less in detail, and looking for things like luxurious finishes like polished concrete floors gets 5 out of 5, and that's something that wasn't in fashion when star ratings began. So now that's included for. We can have a look at that. Yes. So we have quite a great number of nominee support initiatives, and I highly encourage everyone here. You're already doing great. Gold star for coming to an information session. The How to Enter workshop on the 29th of June, once you've nominated, will be how to write your submission, breaking down each of the 4 questions along with that COVID-19 impacts. Now, we'll be hosting the How to Enter workshop at the LGA office in Adelaide, but I'm pleased to say we will also have a hub event being held here in Goolwa too. So live streamed from the LGA offices. Welcome to come to the LGA event or in the hub here and watch the live stream. You'll be able to answer Q&A, submit Q&A as well. As I mentioned before, nominees kit online, available to all nominees as soon as that payment is received. Now, after the expert sessions, these are a great opportunity to bring your draft submission along. So hopefully you're able to have somewhat of a submission proposed by then. And this is 30-minute appointments with 2 of our judges, sometimes 3 of our judges. So you'll get a 30-minute appointment with 1 judge, bring along your draft submission. They'll go through it in detail and give you some feedback one-on-one. It can also be done via the phone. So generally these sessions are held in the city, but if that's not preferred, you're welcome to just have a phone appointment and go through your submission with them, ask any questions. They're volunteering their time to do that, and it's worth its weight in gold. Another initiative is to come into the TiCSA office and view an award-winning submission. And I've just had Wallaroo Marina Apartments very kindly offer their winning submission from 2019 for that view an award-winning submission. So they are fantastic operators, quite very experienced in entering the tourism awards, have won the state awards quite some time. So that'll be great for accommodation entrants, and I'm looking to get another award-winning submission in a different category. So some good variation there. So they are 30-minute appointments to view an award-winning submission. You can take notes and get a real feel for an outstanding submission.
Can I just say that is the thing to do. If you don't do it, you're missing out. So if you get to see an award-winning submission, that's it. You'll get to see positivity that I'm talking about. You'll go, that is polished. So you know what you've got to do. That is the thing to do.
And so, yeah, that'll be something you can do from June. So maybe even earlier, I'm able to, nominations will be due by June. So if you'd like to view it sooner, reach out and we can organise that for you. Draft submission review, that's all due by the 21st of July. Again, working towards that date is highly recommend. And like I mentioned, those questions will be available by the end of this month. Yeah, fantastic. It is 9 till 1 generally, so yeah, a couple of hours of time to invest, but yeah, fantastic because we get an expert from each of those 4 submission sections to present. So far for the customer service submission section, I have Dougal from REA talking to that, and we've also got Linda from Purple Giraffe presenting on the marketing section, and they'll be part of our judging panel for this year too. So quite, yeah, sort of very familiar with how to write the nitty-gritty details of that submission section. So, thanks. Was there any other questions about nominee support or changes? So I'd like to move over to Jenni, who will provide her entrant perspective and top tips.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to come and share our experience with the Tourism Awards. So I'm from the Willunga Farmers Market. We were first time entrants in 2018, and the decision to enter was made up of a number of factors. Probably had, I think, previously been shied away because it was a lot of work, and we had a relatively fresh new team, including myself. And we introduced lots of new things to the market and just the way we were doing things. So we thought it was high time we stepped up and had a crack at the awards. We've just celebrated our 16th birthday. And we also wanted to show our support of tourism and its importance to the region. The market obviously exists primarily as a destination for people to come and buy their fresh local food every week. And we do operate every week. But we've also built a reputation as a place when people are visiting the region to come down and check out the atmosphere and the lively, vibrant offering that we have every Saturday morning. So we certainly do want to be able to share that. And we do link in with lots of other businesses that, you know, they're not just coming to the region for the market, but they're coming for other things, but including the market on their itinerary. So we also thought that it was a great opportunity after attending an information session like this to review our processes, what are we doing, what works, what can we do better, etc. What we then got out of it. So we had a really good look at all aspects of our business: operations, marketing, business planning, strategic planning, our customer mix, and a whole lot more. Winning the recognition from industry and more locally as a sense of pride amongst our stallholders, the board, and our shoppers as well, who are very excited to know that we've won this award. And the interest from local people that may not have visited the market for a long time wanted to know what all the fuss was about. So we saw lots of new faces in the market afterwards, which was great. The automatic entry into the national awards, for us, that was very conveniently held in Launceston, which is home to another fantastic farmers market. And that gave us an opportunity to go down there, attend the awards, and then also connect with the market team down there, talk to producers, share ideas about the different things that we'll go through. So 2 birds in 1 stone. It was on the wish list to go, and that pushed us over the line. My top tips would be follow the process. The planning, support and guidance offered by TiCSA is amazing. I attended many, or have attended many, and will continue to do so. The information sessions that are offered, took loads of notes and photos, and at the end would always find out there was a really comprehensive handout being emailed to me or something. But yeah, I had a one-on-one with a judge to ask questions early in the process. That was in the first year. I think I did it by phone in the second year. You to pass submission, get speed reading up, like taking notes. The first year I had the opportunity to have a mentor, which was great. And I also submitted a draft, which was very much in draft format and right out of my comfort zone, because it was handing something in that was really quite unfinished, was very daunting. Data. So any data that you've got is good data. As long as you can verify where it came from, then you can use, and when and why you can use it. So we hadn't surveyed our customers and their expenditure, etc., for quite a number of years, but I was still able to use that to explain when we collected it and that sort of thing. So it doesn't mean you have to have the latest and greatest with all of that. Don't leave photos until the last minute. We've got a great collection of images from over the years, and we've constantly having photographers at the market. So I thought that would be super easy just to pop those in at the end. That was wrong. And at the last minute, I was literally scrambling, resizing and grouping photos, and hit send on my submission in that first year thinking, I've just blown it on what should have been the easiest component. So don't leave something like that to the last minute. Ask for testimonials to support your application early on from customers, colleagues, suppliers. Again, you don't want to be scrambling for those at the end, or to not receive them in time because you left it too late to ask, or asking and then when someone says, oh, when do you want it? I wouldn't want it yesterday. Stretch the friendship. If you do have offers for assistance, I'd recommend picking a particular area or a question that you're struggling with. I had people offering to help, but I didn't really know where I needed the help. And if I'd looked at it and just picked a particular question or an area, that would have been, that's the way to go, and that's really in the second year. And I also felt, as I said, with that draft, I felt a little overwhelmed to share what I'd done because it seemed so unfinished. Whereas if someone's offering to help, they're offering to help. So it might just be that little kickstart that you need to finish something off, or put you back on track that, hey, what you're doing is actually, you're on the right track and it's okay, but what about this, what about that? In 2019, we entered again, and I didn't expect it to be easy, and I was right. It was still, and there was lots of information that I could still use. I had all this feedback from the state judges and the national judges, but it was still a huge task, and it took lots of time, quite a few visits to the chiropractor from late nights at the computer. And I ended up lodging that submission from a hotel room in Sydney, having just collected the Delicious Produce Award for the most outstanding market in Australia. And I chuckled to my very hungover self as I clicked send. I certainly hadn't collected an award for being the most organised. And I was culling words. That's what I was doing. I think the category that I'm in is 8,000 words anyway. And yeah, that's the hardest thing. And you have feedback, and to fix that, you add more words in to explain things. And so even though try and stick to those guidelines, because the word cull is heart-wrenching. Come up with this really good stuff to say, and you've got to whip it all out. So that feedback from the state and national judges is really fantastic. And I said, reiterating, attending the workshops, listening, if they're online, take the opportunity to do that, meet with the judge, all those sorts of things. And I was able to just continually, and even now when I'm doing things, when I'm, see the little reviews pop up on Google My Business on a Saturday afternoon when people have visited the market. And, you know, you just want to put your feet up. I know that responding to those really quickly, even if it's, you know, if it's great feedback, you're just saying thank you, thanks for sharing, or yeah, just taking that bit of extra time, because it's always in the back of my mind that, oh, that might be come back and be helpful. Sharing your commitment, so personally, your commitment and passion for tourism. So if you go along to a workshop for some personal learning about something that's related to the industry or improving your business, if you're involved in a business association or sit on any committees or anything like that, include that. You can share your own passion in your submission, which demonstrates again your commitment, not only for your own business but for the bigger picture. And there may be someone else in your business. I know the chair of the Willunga Farmers Market is involved in all sorts of other things, and I'm pretty sure that I've made reference to that in our submissions previously, because again it just helps to demonstrate why you should be, why you're awesome. So yeah, thank you again. Go for it. There's been both times that I felt like giving up, but I knew that I'd already put in so much effort and gained so much from the experience that whether we ended up finalists or not, that would kind of be okay. So winning back-to-back was amazing, and I encourage you all to enter so that the Flurio and obviously Barossa and Flinders, just get some great ones on the board and shout from the rooftops how fantastic South Australia is at the national awards, hopefully. That's all. Anyone, any questions? Yeah.
Nevertheless, consider what the development advantage rigorous analysis, access to all that. I'm saying, what do you got out of this? Where was the advantage? What was the result?
Yeah, I think the exposure that it's given us, even though we didn't get any headline news about the Willunga Farmers Market winning the Tourism Award, there was lots of chatter locally about it. So for us, that's a huge part of our business. We rely on people coming and supporting us supporting our 70, 80 odd little stallholders. So we need to 3,000 people coming through the market all the time. If they're all visitors, they wouldn't be buying fruit and vegetables. So I need people to be doing that. So for us, just the lift, the interest that people took locally in, oh, that's down the road from me. I haven't been, or I haven't been for years, or I never go, or I thought it was tricky. So it definitely, we've seen an increase in our membership over the past, and obviously COVID has had an impact on that as well, but people are looking for fresh food and whatnot. Just, it's lifted our profile. Yeah, definitely. Just as an effort in we're doing all this stuff anyway. So sharing that. So, and we do when we won the Delicious Produce Award, which gave us we didn't win the National Tourism Award, but we won the most outstanding farmers market, and we had entered, put in a submission for that, quite a few years in a row, and we've been a finalist but not been successful. And we feel strongly that winning the State Tourism Award was what tipped us. It took us to that next level in the Delicious Produce Award. So, and it's, the sense of pride in our own community that visit the market, they all felt like they'd won. And that's something that's really special about the market, is that it is such, and why visitors love coming. So if that sense of pride is elevated even more, then the visitor experience is better. So, and I would be happy as long as no one's entering next week. I would be more than happy to chat on the phone or have a coffee or share, because obviously for us, the more successful the whole region, picking up awards and whatnot, if we can help in any way, shape or